Hey there, welcome to DIY Comics FAQ. I'm G.E. Gallas and I'm here to answer all your questions about indie comics, graphic novels, webcomics, zines, self-publishing, storytelling, you name it. If you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe. Today I'm going to be answering two questions. I think that they'll be quick answers and they're somewhat related. So the first question is from Vanity Fair on Twitter. Asks, what's the best time to post webcomics for international audience? I don't post very often, so it's hard to figure out. The second question is from Joey G at Joey G Cartoonist on Twitter. They ask, how do I promote my webcomic so more people can read it? So let me first start with what's the best time to post webcomics for an international audience. This is going to be a lot of trial and error. Everyone has their own opinion about when the best time to post is. My personal experience is that I get less interactions, less likes, less comments and whatnot on Twitter and Instagram if I post on Mondays and Fridays. I still post on those days, but I just don't expect that many likes or comments on those days. It all fluctuates, so sometimes I get a lot of people on a Monday or a lot of people on a Friday. It's just difficult to predict what's going on and who's online and who's at home, you know, on Twitter or Instagram at a certain time. If you're just starting out, I don't think that posting at a specific time matters too much. As I said, like maybe don't post on Mondays and Fridays. I think if you post like Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or sometime there, then, you know, people are more likely to be online. At least that's what my experience has been. But there's no real science to it. You can't predict what people are going to be doing. You can't predict when people are going to be online. Especially, you can't predict when people are interested in reading webcomics. So if you're just starting out, I would suggest to experiment. I mean, I've been doing Twitter for a long time now and Instagram for a while now. So you just have to experiment and see when you're getting the most likes, when you're getting the most comments. And also you're going to be getting more likes and more comments the more you post, the more followers you have. So it's really just a big experiment to see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. But maybe you want to decide, like, I'm going to post every Tuesday and Thursday a new art piece or a new comic book page. That's fine. That's a good way to start. That's kind of what I'm doing with these YouTube videos. I just thought, okay, I'm gonna try posting an episode every Tuesday and Thursday and see what happens. So I don't know, pick a day that works for you, that you think people may be online. I think posting really late at night, you're not gonna get as many likes and comments, especially on like a work day or a school day. It's probably better to post late morning, early afternoon, I've found personally, but again, like, just experiment and see what works for you. My biggest advice for this question is that instead of worrying about when to post, be sure to promote the link to your comic or whatever it is on your different social media accounts. So that means cross-posting. So for instance, if you're posting a page of your webcomic on Tapas, don't just stop there. Post it on Twitter and Instagram as well and say, hey, check out my new page on Tapas. Here's the link. Go check it out. So cross-posting is a really good way to go about things. I cross-post my videos. I do it on Twitter and Facebook, and I get different people clicking through to the video. So it's the same thing with webcomics. If you post, hey, Twitter, check out my webcomic, hopefully people will see it and click through to be able to read your webcomic. So definitely cross-post as much as you possibly can, and then it doesn't matter so much the time that you're posting your webcomic or piece of art. Another thing you should try is retweeting your own tweets. I do this a lot. I try not to enrage Twitter because I think that Twitter doesn't like it so much when you retweet your own tweets. But every once in a while, if you retweet your own tweets, then more people are going to see that old tweet. Also, people like to boost their own posts, which just means they add a comment to their own tweet so that it gets recirculated, that more people see it. So you see people on Twitter going like boost as a comment. The more interaction you have with a post, the more Twitter is going to circulate it. I don't really understand algorithms, but this is kind of what I've gleaned from everything. The more comments you get, the more likes you get, the more retweets you get, obviously the more people who are going to see your post. So if you like, retweet, and comment on your own post, that's a way to boost your post so that more people will be able to see it. So try experimenting with this and see if that works for you. A lot of people also cross post on multiple webcomic sites, so you'll see a lot of the same series on Tapas and Webtoon. So that's a way to access a different audience, because some people prefer Tapas, some people prefer Webtoons. So you're going to be hitting different audiences. You might hit some of the same audiences, that's fine. But a lot of people like to post their webcomic more than one place in an attempt to catch as many audience's eyes as you can. So the second question, how do I promote my webcomics so more people can read it? First, to answer this question, please check out my previous episode, Growing Your Audience. It has a lot of good tips growing your audience on Twitter and Instagram, which will help you get more eyes on your webcomic. So please go back into my episodes and check that one out, because I think that'll help you. Cross post, like I said, post your webcomic not only consistently on whatever platform you choose, Tapas, Webtoons, Smack Jeeves, whatever it is, but also be sure to share it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those social media sites. It's like an announcement to tell people, hey, check this out, I just posted it. So cross-posting is your friend. It's a good way to get more eyes on your webcomic. Post consistently. So if you're doing a webcomic, people like webcomics that update on a consistent schedule, whether that's one comic, one page a week, a couple pages a week. I don't overdo it when you're first starting out. Like one page a week is a lot. So just pick a day that is comfortable for you. Like I think I used to post Upon My Soul on Wednesdays, so I just knew that every Wednesday I'm going to post a new page Upon My Soul. And to help you with this, definitely have a buffer. I think I talked about this in a previous episode. That just means having multiple pages already done. So like if you are starting out a webcomic, maybe have 30 pages already done so that you have this buffer, that you're not going to stress every single week, oh no, I don't have a new page. You know that you have, if you're posting one page every week and you have 30 pages already, you know that you have 30 weeks to work on new pages. Like this doesn't mean that you should just wait till those pages run out. You have to keep working on your webcomic so that you can keep up, but at least it'll take the pressure off of you that you don't have to have a new page made every single week and stress about it. So buffers are a really great tool when you are posting your own webcomic. Another thing you might try to promote your webcomic is to find Facebook groups and post about your webcomic there. Be careful, there are a lot of Facebook groups out there and each of them have their own specific rules to them, and the people who run these Facebook pages can get mad at you if you don't obey their rules. But there are a lot of different like indie comics, webcomic Facebook groups that are like, hey, share your webcomic here. So that's a really good way to like get more eyes on your webcomic, to just say, hey, please check out my webcomic. Here's the link I just started. I'd really appreciate if you would check it out. Another way to promote your webcomic is to just ask your friends to help you spread the word. I'm sure everyone has a couple friends on Twitter or Facebook or wherever on social media, and just ask your friends, like, please, can you do a quick shout out to my webcomic? Or you can even approach someone on Twitter who you admire, another artist, and just say, hey, I love your webcomic, I tweeted about it already. Do you mind if you just give me a little shout out for my webcomic? I'm just starting out, and that would be super great of you. So just be really nice to people. People might get mad at you, but it's not, you don't feel bad about it. It's not your fault. Just try to be polite. And especially if hopefully your friends will be really supportive and just be like, hey, of course I'll do a little tweet about it. That's kind of word of mouth too. Like if you could ask your friends, hey, could you tell people about my webcomic? And then hopefully they'll tell their friends, and their friends will tell their friends in an ideal world. So word of mouth is always good too. I've asked people to spread the word on Twitter about my graphic novel, The Plague and Dr. Came, that I'm currently crowdfunding, and I get a lot of positive comments from people, which is really nice because I do feel bad about bothering people. And of course there are some people who are like, stop bothering me, block, you're blocked. But I don't take it personally. Like, you just never know, because there are plenty of people who are like, oh my god, thank you so much for telling me about your comic, it looks awesome. So you just don't know how people are gonna react. But I have had a number of people go, oh, this is so cool, I'm gonna tell all my friends about it. So word of mouth is just as important as Twitter and other things. It's kind of old-fashioned social media, I guess. Another thing that I tend to do, so of course I go to conventions and different comic events to promote my own work. So I do Small Press Expo often, SPX, and DC Zine Fest. Those are probably my two big events that I try to do every single year because they're in my area. A way that I try to promote my webcomics through these events, so of course I'm selling zines and comic books and things, but if I have a webcomic or a crowdfunding campaign that I need to get the word out there, I'll make business cards, like really simple business cards that just have a great image from whatever the webcomic or the crowdfunding campaign is, and then a little description of the comic, and then the website that you can either support it or buy it or read it or whatever it happens to be. So just make a little business card. I've done postcards in the past, but people kind of don't know what to do with a postcard. It's too big. So at least a business card, they can easily hold it. They get a lot of other people's business cards. You kind of end up collecting business cards at these kind of events. I usually print my business cards with Vistaprint. They're not a sponsor, by the way, it's just who I use. There are a lot of other great websites that you can get your business cards printed really easily and then delivered to you in the snail mail. I tend to use Vistaprint because they always have coupons. I always get a really good deal, like 30% off, 20% off, whatever it is. And so I get maybe like 200 to 500 printed out, and then you can just freely pass them out at an event to as many people as possible, as many people who will take it. People love getting free stuff usually. You will get a couple of curmudgeon-y people who don't want your card. They're gonna say, oh, don't give it to me because I'm just gonna throw it in the trash. Don't let that discourage you. Just give it out to people. And a lot of people might not look at the card, but there's a chance that someone will look at the card and go to your website and love your webcomic, or, you know, give to your crowdfunding campaign. So you just never know. I do this every time I'm at a comic book event. I make sure that I have tons of business cards to promote whatever I'm promoting at the time. So definitely give it a try if you're going to be at a convention. Even if you don't have a table, even if you're not exhibiting, it's a good idea to have a business card to hand out to people, because, you know, you might exchange business cards with some of the people tabling. Some of these events like Small Press Expo, they'll have a table set out specifically where people can leave their different cards and flyers and things. So definitely think about making your own business cards to help you promote your webcomic or whatever else you're working on. You might also want to think about doing something other than a business card, like a button or a pin. It might be a little more expensive to do a button or a pin, but people love getting free buttons and pins. There are so many people who collect buttons and they like put them on their backpack or purse or whatever it is, and it might bring a smile to their face to get a free button. So that might be an interesting, memorable way to promote your webcomic. I also have in the past received matchbooks instead of a business card, like a matchbook with someone's character printed on it and then their information on the back. And that was kind of memorable to me because I had never gotten a matchbook before from one of these conventions. So I don't know if you have a clever idea about something other than a business card that's inexpensive, that you can get a lot printed for not that much money. Maybe you want to invest a little bit of money to do something memorable that you can pass out to people at different events. So I hope this video answered your questions, Vanity Fair and Joey G. I'm happy to answer more questions like this. I know a lot of people struggle with promoting their comics. They don't know when to post. They don't know how many times to post in a week. There are so many different decisions you have to make when you're doing a webcomic. It's difficult to promote your own webcomic. So I've been doing this a long time and I'm happy to share my wisdom with you. So if you have questions like this, if you have questions about storytelling, making your comic, making your graphic novel, I'm always happy to answer those questions. So please reply below to this video with your questions or tweet me at GEGallas, that's GEGALLAS, with your questions and I will answer them in a future episode. If you like these episodes and you want to support this channel, please subscribe. It's free. It's one easy click. You'll get notified every time I post a new video, which is Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thank you so much. That's all for now. See you next time.